We use search engines all the time to find websites, but that's really just scratching the surface of the internet. So what if I told you there's another search engine out there? One that doesn't find websites, but physical things. I'm talking webcams, traffic lights, even power plants. It's been called the scariest search engine in the world, and today we're going to pull back the curtain and see why. Just let that sink in for a second. Instead of searching for articles or videos, imagine you could find stuff. Actual physical devices plugged into the network. The search isn't for what a device says, but for what it fundamentally is. And that one question, well, it takes us to a very, very different part of the internet. And this is the answer. It's called Shodan. Now, this map you're looking at, it doesn't show websites or data centers. Nope. Every single point of light you see is a physical device that Shodan has found connected to the internet. It's basically a live map of the internet's physical backbone. Servers, routers, and, as we're about to see, a whole lot more. And when I say a whole lot more, that is a massive understatement. Shodan can find everything from unprotected webcams in people's homes to the actual control systems for traffic lights, water treatment plants, and even the power grid itself. Seriously, even sensitive medical devices have been found just sitting out there exposed. It's just a staggering public list of the world's connected infrastructure. Okay, so seeing a list like that, your first thought is probably the exact same as mine was. Is this some kind of super sophisticated hacking tool? But the truth is, Shodan isn't breaking into anything. The way it works is way simpler, and honestly, it says a lot more about our connected world. The secret sauce behind Shodan isn't some kind of digital lockpick. It's more like it's just a really, really good listener. It all boils down to this little thing called a service banner, which is basically what devices are openly shouting about themselves to anyone who asks. Here's probably the best way to think about it. You've got Google, right? It crawls the web asking, what does this page say? It's reading the words on the page. Shodan, on the other hand, it pings a device and asks a much more basic question. What are you? It's not reading the book. It's reading the technical label on the outside of the box. So this service banner is the whole key. It's just a tiny piece of text that a device sends out when another computer on the network says hello. You can think of it like a digital handshake or even a name tag. It's just a device introducing itself saying, hey, I'm a web server, or hey there, I'm a printer. For example, here's a super common one. This banner is from a standard web server. It's just openly telling us that it's running Apache software version 2.2.29 on a Unix system. Pretty useful info, but nothing too surprising here. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. Now look at this. This is not from a website. This banner is from a Siemens S7 industrial control system, like for a factory, and it's broadcasting its name, its specific CPU model, and, get this, its serial number. This is the kind of incredibly detailed, sensitive information that Shodan just scoops up simply by listening to what these devices are already yelling out to the world. Okay, so Shodan gathers billions of these banners from every corner of the globe. But a giant database isn't all that useful unless you can actually search it, right? And that's where filters come in. They let you just slice and dice all this data to find exactly what you're looking for. Here's how a typical search goes. You could start by looking for a specific type of webcam software, like Webcam XP. That might give you thousands of results from all over the world. Okay, too many. So then you add a country filter, let's say, narrowing it down to just Australia. And from there, you can even filter by city, like Sydney. In just 3 simple steps, you've gone from the entire internet down to a specific device in a specific city. And when you apply that same filtering logic on a bigger scale, you get something like this. This map shows the results for just one search, industrial control systems across Europe. Every single one of those red dots represents the control system for a factory, a utility, or some other piece of critical infrastructure, all found with just a simple query. It's wild. So this incredible power to find and map devices so precisely, it naturally leads to a really serious question. What does it mean when all this critical and often sensitive equipment is just visible to the entire world? Yeah, security experts are pretty blunt about this. Connecting these industrial control systems directly to the internet is, to put it mildly, a fundamentally bad idea. This stuff was designed to run on isolated networks, It was never meant to face the hostile environment of the public web. Shodan basically becomes a giant catalog of our collective security mistakes. It finds devices that are still using the factory default passwords, like admin/admin. It finds systems running ancient software with well-known security holes that have never been patched, and sometimes it finds services with no password protection at all. We're not talking about complex hacks here. These are just wide-open doors. And this right here, this brings us to the most important point of all. Shodan itself isn't the threat. It's a mirror. It just reflects the current state of the internet right back at us. The truly scary part is the reflection that it's showing. This vast landscape of insecure, poorly configured, and vulnerable devices connected to pretty much everything we rely on.
But that is not the end of the story, because if you can see a problem, you can also fix it. And that brings us to the real purpose and the primary use for Shodan, as a tool for defense. So while the idea of finding a power plant with a search engine is definitely alarming, the main people using Shodan aren't malicious hackers. They're actually the defenders, cybersecurity pros, academic researchers, and network admins who use it to find their own vulnerabilities before an attacker can. So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. A tool like Shodan doesn't create security holes. It just provides a powerful way to find the ones that already exist. It's a global-scale diagnostic tool, giving the good guys the visibility they need to secure our increasingly connected world. And that kind of brings this whole big, scary idea right back home, to us. We've talked about power grids and factories, but what about the devices in our own homes? That smart TV, the printer, maybe some security cameras? It really forces us to ask, in this huge internet of things, what are we broadcasting to the world?